welcome to The Bottom Line, where we unpack some of the main business and economic stories of the day. There are some optimistic suggestions that 2025 may be a positive turning point for Germany, or that, at the very least, the downward economic slump will change its course. Germany's economic well-being significantly impacts our Central and Eastern European region, as we've explored broadly on Business Arena. To tell us more, we are joined by Jens Boysen-Hogrefe, Deputy Director from the Kiel Institute. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us on The Bottom Line.
Hello, good evening from Kiel.
So by the end of this year, it looks like Germany will have faced 2 years of economic stagnation, but 2025 and 2026, we're cautiously looking at some kind of growth. Can you tell us where it may come from and also how? And is it a realistic expectation?
Oh, that's a good question. Where growth shall come from. So a bit of hope is there that private consumption could step up a bit. In recent years, in recent quarters, the savings rate was a bit higher than expected. There could be some room for additional private consumption. Maybe the construction sector can do a bit better, but there's hardly any sign for a very strong recovery ahead, since the trouble in the industrial sector and the industrial production will still be in trouble also for the upcoming year. There's no clear sign where things should get better, since the competitiveness shock we suffered due to the industrial policy change in China, due to the demographic change that puts pressure on wages. All these things are here to stay, and solutions to these are rather long run and not short run.
So do you essentially disagree with those forecasts?
At least we should be very cautious. It's highly likely that we do a bit better than maybe we did in the 2 years before. But there's uncertainty about that, first of all. Yeah. Also due to it's not clear how the trade policy in the US, whether these will have a huge impact on Germany, but could also increase the trouble in the industrial sector further. And so, yeah, we should be really cautious and it's highly likely that the recovery is not very strong that we are facing.
So I also wanted to ask about the German recovery, if there will be any, obviously, in the context of economic production, because obviously from an industrial point of view, the automotive production sector has suffered hugely in Q3, and obviously Volkswagen is a very obvious case study. If we do see any economic revival, where would you expect it to come from?
It's rather so what could of course happen is that if there's a huge increase in production and in demand from abroad, then of course also the German industry will somehow benefit from that. But one has to admit, in recent years, the link was weakened, and the new competitor China, got more of the cake than German industry, and this will be there. This does not go away. So there's no signs that we will do much better. So we need reforms and maybe we have to admit that the old industries in Germany, that the trouble is so deep that we simply have to look for new technologies, for new industries, and regulation and red tape in Germany is a topic there, because it's so deep, so huge that this hinders maybe the way towards new technologies and new industries.
And obviously a very obvious topic are the Trump tariffs. According to the German Economic Institute, the calculations suggest that over the space of 4 years, the tariffs could cost Germany a loss of approximately 127 to 180 billion euros. What does that actually mean for the future of German economic recovery or the German economy, and what can be done to actually counter that?
in the very short run, the impact might be not that strong, since as long as the tariffs are not disruptive or extreme. For the simple reason, the US won't be able to substitute ad hoc. So they want, but of course, investments will find will change. Relative prices change worldwide, and this will have an impact. Maybe in the short run, if the Trump administration also increases the uses a lot of more fiscal space, or the deficit increases, maybe there's even a positive impulse for the world economy. That's in the short run, it's possible. But in the long run, of course, if world trade suffers and world trade gets in trouble because we start maybe even a trade war with increasing tariffs worldwide, then of course this is bad news for the remaining German industry, and this will also hinder the recovery substantially. Maybe not in the next 1 or 2 quarters, but beyond that, yes, this will have a weigh on it, and especially when these trade policies are there to stay, and if it's a starting point for further trade wars among other participants in the world trade.
Germany's former health minister Jens Spahn spoke to Bloomberg, where he spoke about Germany needing to seek a common strategy with Trump to boost the transatlantic alliance while reducing economic dependency on China. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that and whether actually the German government has done anything to move forward with this.
Currently, the German government is not really active, since we are rather in a time where it's all about upcoming elections, and there's little steps forward in any direction. Of course, when after the elections and when a new government will be in place, it could be the case that the new government will really try to come up with agreements with the US. But it's also, of course, since the European perspective is also extremely relevant. It's also relevant whether there are agreements or deals, as Donald Trump would maybe say, also with the European Commission. And of course, it could be very helpful to just to talk to and maybe find ways out of this situation where indeed a trade war would also be a negative would have negative consequences for the US too, and so maybe just buying some things from the US in a very maybe arms could be a pleasant sign that we are willing to find an agreement.
Or maybe cars.
Whether Germans will buy US cars, I'm not sure about it, but we are rather hoping that they will still buy German cars. But yes, anyway, so yeah.
Could we anticipate perhaps that the upcoming German elections in February will pressure the newly formed government to implement changes to significantly kickstart the economy? Is there a chance that perhaps this political crisis will be a saving grace in the long run?
Well, it's just a matter of few months that we gain from these new elections when you take this perspective. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, one has to admit that there's still the labor market is not in huge trouble. So maybe the political pressure to really do dramatic reforms that might be needed to help German industry are not that strong, since the all-day life of many Germans is not that severely affected. Labor market is still okay, but of course, in the long run, we'll lose productivity, and this will also have an impact on public finance and all problems that come in. Demographic change and so on and so forth would be much easier to solve or to tackle when we would have substantial growth rates. But again, maybe the pressure is not that huge that the new government that the first thing that the new government will do is really a strong reform project to help the growth in Germany. It could be that this is rather something they will tell us in some speeches, but when it's about hard decisions, I'm not sure whether they will be taken.
Okay, it's been great having you, Jens, with us. Thank you so much for your insight.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
And that was Jens Boysen-Hogrefe, Deputy Director from the Kiel Institute. Thank you so much for joining us today. I was your host, Marie Cato. Join us every weekday for Business Arena at 5 p.m. CET on TVP World. And for the latest in regional business, follow us on X and on tvpworld.com. And for more news and features, stay with us on TVP World. Goodbye.